Hello, welcome to another edition of On the Spot. I'm Christopher Taylor of My Astro Chris, and you're back on the spot with me. Today we have a chart of a 26-year-old female, and we're going to take a look at a couple of pieces of the chart. Here's her natal chart right here. Okay, and what we're going to focus in on, what you see circled there, is a couple of things, really. There's a little cluster of Mercury and Uranus conjunct at the bottom of the chart. So that's exactly opposing the midheaven, which is the top of the chart. And then we have Venus over there on the right in the 6th house. And both of these areas is what we really want to focus on today. However, before we get to that, I also want to bring up a little bit about her natal sun in Capricorn, which is pretty much under fire right now by Pluto. But we'll get to that in just a second. As far as the pieces we're going to focus on today, that little cluster of Mercury and Uranus at the bottom of her chart, we'll take that part first. Where that's located, it's actually a pretty powerful location for that. Mercury is our thoughts and ideas and things, and Uranus is like the genius side of us. And so someone with Mercury-Uranus conjunction in the first place is someone that has some pretty unique ingenious ideas. And this sitting at the very bottom of her chart, opposing the midheaven, here's someone that things come to. Information comes to her in very quick, very unique kinds of ways. Also, when it comes to the family, the upbringing, the past, there's a sense of memories that pop into being from that 4th house is kind of where we store our memories of the past and our family and things like that. And so there's a real keen sense of suddenly being aware of something that she didn't remember a long time ago. Okay, but with the Sun and Neptune in the 4th house as well, there's also a tendency to sometimes see the past slightly in a different shade than it actually was. So there's a perception that's off from reality in some cases. But in any case, this is a very genius kind of aspect where she's coming up with things, and that's a real good way to describe it, because it is coming from below. It's coming up with these ideas that come right through her, and it's this real sense of keen awareness of the truth about information. So there's a real ability to tune into the truth and to know what the truth is in certain situations. Okay? And so that's one piece we're going to talk about. The other piece was that Venus over in her 6th house. And Venus in the 6th house, this is someone that is often going to be attracted to positions of being kind of a subordinate to others as far as work goes and things like that. But in general, this is a piece of her that's getting hit right now, so we want to talk about that. And so we'll get to that in just a second, like I said. First, before we jump into those two pieces in the main part of this, I want to talk about her natal sun. Here's her chart with the Sun circled and Pluto just below it. Pluto is right on top of her natal sun right now. And the Sun represents that true inner self, that deep, true self. And when Pluto is conjunct your Sun, which it is for her right now, which is a once-in-a-lifetime aspect, not even everyone gets this aspect in a lifetime if your Sun is out of range of where Pluto will travel throughout your lifetime. And so this is deep, internal transformation and actualization. It's an actualization to who she is in reality. And the playings around with this Sun energy of hers started back in the fall of last year, of 2010, when Saturn, back in late September, early October, squared that Sun of hers. And that would have been the start of a realization of, I am not being who I'm supposed to be. Or a sense of, who am I? Okay? And a real feeling that there's roadblocks in between who she is and who she needs to be. Okay? So that would have been late September, early October 2010. Here in about late February, early March, Jupiter squared that area again, and there was a sense of, oh, this is who I can be. So late February, early March, again, oh, now I can see a way around those roadblocks, or a way through those roadblocks. And at the beginning of 2011 as well, Pluto started that conjunction. So the next couple of years, 2011, 2012, for her, are real deep, real transformative, real powerful. It's about getting at the root of who she is. Next year in 2012, when Uranus squares that Sun area, it'll be quite a year as far as coming into her own, okay? And so that's just something I wanted to mention, but we'll get back to the subject at hand. Here, look at this chart. we have that cluster at the bottom of Mercury and Uranus. We have Venus over in the 6th house, and the planet Saturn over on the bottom left, and Jupiter on the upper right, that are circled, those transiting planets that are affecting those issue areas, okay? And so the first one we'll focus in on is this cluster at the bottom, the Mercury-Uranus cluster at the very bottom of the chart. And for this case, Saturn over there in the 2nd house, Saturn entered the 2nd house here. It's kind of hovering around that 2nd house cusp right about now. So money issues, self-worth, these kind of things are really coming up for her at this point, okay? And Saturn also began a sextile to that little cluster at Mercury and Uranus down at the bottom of the chart, as well as trining the midheaven. And this would have started around the holidays of this past year of 2010, okay? And so this is a sense of holding the space. So from around the holidays all the way through the end of the summer of 2011. And today we're here at May 17th, 2011. And so a few months back in the holidays, all the way through the end of the summer, Saturn is holding the space with regards to a sense of her recognizing her own ingenious ideas and how they can be implemented in the outer world. And so it's a kind of a holding pattern of saying, okay, what can I do with this? What can I do with this? What can I do with this? When Jupiter up in the 8th house came by and clipped these planets from the other side, a trine to the Uranus-Mercury conjunction and a sextile to the midheaven, here's an opportunity period. And this was right around early April. So late March, early April, there was a sense of opportunity, a sense of, of implementation, of seeing this is how I can make this real. And so what she's been kind of mulling over the last several months since the holidays, there was a sense of how to make it real around late March, early April, and it's still in the works here until the end of the summer, is what I would say. So there's something, she's cooking up some kind of ideas. There's something, I get a sense of getting off the track where she's usually on. And part of this has to do with that internal actualization with Pluto on her sun, where what she normally would do, what she would normally be attracted to as far as work and career and people in her life, she's seeing things differently. And this new information is coming to her in a way that, she could see a way to use it, in other words. And that it will be finished here until the end of the summer. So then the final part here is that Venus in the 6th house. And in this case, Jupiter was first to clip Venus with a sextile, and then it was Saturn, which is going to go ahead and start a trine with Venus, not until this fall, but we'll talk about the Jupiter part first. So Jupiter came by and sextiled this Venus just in the last couple of weeks, in early May. Okay, so the last couple of weeks, there's a real sense of opportunity with regards to money. Money has been an issue here. She's thinking a lot about money lately in the last several months, thinking about how she can provide for herself and things like that, and a sense of self-worth that comes with that. In the last couple of weeks, there's been a sense of, oh, okay, I can see it working. And when it comes to people, possibly meeting people, that she wouldn't normally be open to, and a sense of it opening to new types of people the last couple of weeks. Okay, and so this is opening a doorway that will seemingly appear to be shut at this point, like it's over. But when we get to November, when Saturn comes by and starts a trine with that with that Venus, that is going to set us off. It's also gonna be the beginning of her Saturn return. So, sorry, no, it won't be. Not quite yet. But that's gonna definitely be starting with this Venus component of her, with the trine to Venus, and so from November of 2011 all the way through the summer of 2012, this is kind of a time period where, making things real with regards to finance, with regards to relationships. So she could have been introduced to a new type of person she wasn't attracted to before, say in the last couple of weeks. And then this fall comes around through next summer, and there's an opportunity within that period of actually meeting someone she can solidify something with. And on a money level, if it had to do with money the last couple of weeks, as far as her earnings, it could be that this fall into next summer really gives her the sense of, here's what I can do concretely to bring in the money in this way. And it's going to be more reflective of who she really is, with this whole Pluto thing going on her sun, and with Uranus coming up to square her son next year, 2012 certainly promises, if she chooses to open herself up and actualize the true nature that's there, there's going to be a new way of being, a new way of seeing what she's worth and how she can earn money and the types of people she's worthy enough of, to associate with. That's the kind of awarenesses and awakenings that are kind of happening now. So that about wraps it up. Again, I'm Christopher Taylor of My Astro Chris. If you are interested in your own on-the-spot reading or a comprehensive consultation for yourself as an individual, for you and your significant other as a couple, or for your business organization, that's another big one. Lots of great ways this can be used for business organizations. Please do not hesitate to contact me. MyAstroChris.com. That's the website. You can find ways to contact me there, and let me know anything you have, any questions, and I'd be happy to help. Thanks a lot.